Well, I'm all alone on here, but I'll wait and see if anybody joins me. Do you see one?
There you are.
All right, I'm starting to see people. Morning, Joshua. Morning, Phil. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Yay. Hi, Rachel. I'm going to wait. I see people are slowly joining us, maybe a little bit shorter. But let's see. Yeah, 10:30. That's quite a bit later. Hey guys, thanks for hanging with me. Sorry for the technical difficulties this morning. We'll see if we can get that straightened out before next week. Morning, Marcia. Morning, Luke. Morning, Ralph. All right. Yay, we're going to get a few of you. That's good. I'm going to sit here and wait for a few minutes while people connect if they want to. I apologize, but even though you guys are here, yeah, this is good stuff. So Phil, things are going well at the blood drive right now at ALA. Fill us in. Give us a few details on the live chat if you don't mind. That's great to hear. All right, we're getting up there. We got 15 now. Let's sip my coffee. Again, my apologies for the technical difficulties. I'm not sure what happened. I got kind of a new message this morning that I hadn't seen before and wasn't sure quite how to handle that, but I'll figure it out. Things were spinning for me and weren't allowing me to sign on. So anyway, we kind of figured it out. So Phil says, first time doing a blood bus. It's pretty cool. You do everything on an air-conditioned bus. Nice. Every slot is full. Thanks, Phil. And thanks for doing that. And thanks to all of our awesome volunteers for helping do that. Morning, Ruth. Good to see you here. Morning, Rachel. Well, awesome. It does look like people are joining us despite the technical difficulties. That's great. I want to show you guys something that I did. My capable assistant is on this side, but if you'll notice, so that I could keep having Pastor on the patio, we now have misters in the background, and oh my goodness,
you can see them in the window.
Oh yeah, reflection, it's more comfortable out here by far. So that's good stuff. Can use our back porch a little bit longer into the summer now. All right, well, I'm going to get us started. First thing I want to mention to everybody, we're up to 20. That's a good group. I want to urge you to go and check out the homepage on our website because it is revamped. Now, if you look just at the top, you're not going to notice much of the revamp because we kept the top of the web page pretty much the same as it always was. You'll notice that the navigation bar hasn't changed. The COVID-19 update banner is still what it was. So we've got that going, and that will stay there probably until about July 12th, assuming we're able to get back for live services on July 12th. But if you scroll down, you'll notice, for example, right below the main banner, the hero image, as people in the marketing biz call it, you'll easily be able to fill out a communication card Right below that, then you can join on Facebook and YouTube, and maybe we'll look at adding some of our others. This is really mainly about getting our services easy to access. But then, for example, you'll notice that we've got, Phil was just talking about the blood drive. You can easily go and click on certain links that are key links. So our latest update is right there. The blood drive link was right there. And we talked a lot in the service today. Thank you, Pastor Chris, for talking about that. We talked about the school drive. So that's all there. Kids stuff for the service, or anytime you want to connect with kids and when you want to join a growth group, all there. And then finally, a give online button to make it easy for you to make your offering if you'd like to. So that's all there on the updated new website homepage. So check that out sometime during the week. With the blood drive ending, I just want to remind you once again about the school drive, which is ongoing right now. Just click on that link on the homepage. It'll take you right there to what's happening. And so there's a list of items that you can donate. And we love being able to help our schools. And this summer, the new thing is, for the first time, we're extending help to both school districts that we're involved with. Here in Levine, it's the Levine Elementary School District. And in Midtown, for the first time, we're including the Madison Elementary School District in on this effort. So really cool. Phil, I don't know if since you're on here, if you want to add any further details on the school drive. We're just excited to be able to do this and help the kids in both of our communities, particularly those kids that may be struggling to get the resources they need to have a good school experience every day. So that was one of the first things that I wanted to hit on. Then I'm going back, because if you click the link to the news page, you're going to notice that we're going to be back at it with St. Mary's Food Bank. We'll be packing boxes. That's on Saturday, June 27th, from 12 to 2 p.m. And again, this is all the detailed information that you want about that is found on the news page at Crosswalk cwlk.church, and then click on the news link. So, and I'm sure there'll be a direct link to that on the homepage coming up soon once we get the blood drive link down temporarily. All right, I realize that I don't have as much time this morning because I have to go back and facilitate the 11 a.m. service, but I wanted to give you also an update on how we're doing with a reopening. We are looking at July 12th, and July 12th is right now, unless something shakes loose sooner than we had first expected. We will be at Arizona Lutheran Academy. We're still reaching out to both school districts, Madison Elementary and Cesar Chavez in the Phoenix Union High School District, to find out when we might get in there. So keep your eyes open. It's possible that by July 12th, they will permit us to be back in our own original school building. So we're hopeful for that. We hope that can be that way. You guys can be praying about that. One of the things I'm going to say is so far with our experience with communion services, we have just under 400 communicant members at Crosswalk, and we got just under 100 in attendance at our first communion services, and we'll be holding another communion service soon. And And those invitations, by the way, will come to you via email so that you can register. But to invite almost 400 and to get 100 probably is a good indicator of what we can expect. I did a little poll of some of my friends who have just this past week reopened their church, and that led me to expect that attendance will likely be in about the 40% of normal range. So we'll see how it goes for Crosswalk. We are waiting a few weeks more than some of our Wisconsin friends and others that I polled, simply because they seem to be in a little bit better shape. We're also monitoring the increase in the number of cases in Arizona. If you've been paying attention to the news, then you've probably heard that we are experiencing a bit of spike in the number of cases in Arizona. So hopefully that goes down and we can be praying about that. Questions so far?
Ralph was asking if we need to wear masks when we come, but Phil answered him, not required, but suggested or recommended.
Yeah.
And Joshua said he was wondering if Pastor on the Patio, if there will be some type of
continuation
of that for people who aren't coming physically to services.
That's a good question, Joshua. And I'll be, as always, I'll be honest with you. We haven't had a chance yet to talk about that aspect of it. We've been kind of busy talking about how do we make sure things are, organized for social distancing and cleaning up before, between, and after our services. And we had not got to that. A big amount of our talk, however, has been centered around making sure that the live stream of the worship still happens and that's as seamless as possible. So I will, based on your question, take that to the executive team and talk a little bit about that. I think there will be those interested in what's going to be happening with Crosswalk Kids. And I will tell you that we're not anticipating opening Crosswalk Kids for a while. I don't have any specific time frame. Probably at least not until fall kickoff, which is mid-August, before we would consider opening Crosswalk Kids. So kids materials will continue to be generated and so on for online. And I'll ask the question about Pastor on the Patio. Some of that I think is going to depend also on whether or not our services are in one location or two, because that affects how many pastors are available to do things like Pastor on the Patio. So we'll see what we can imagine for that. We'll continue to reach out to the school districts, and I'm happy to hear, Joshua, the suggestion that you're enjoying Pastor on the Patio. That's good. I'm enjoying it too. That's why I like doing it, and that's why I was disappointed when I couldn't get on right away this morning. So thanks to all of you for hanging with me and finding me 15 minutes later. And I see, Joshua, possibly we could do Pastor on the Patio later in the day. Yeah, that's possible. It might have to be evening, just based on the fact that we do have class system classes at 2 p.m. and have to be there now, because we're trying to, with class system classes like Bible Basics 1 and 2, be able to stream those on Zoom even while we're teaching them live in the classroom. So that's been the new thing that requires a little bit more setup time and doing things like that. So we'll find that. We'll find out if we can pull that off. Right now, what I would say is we will do Pastor on the Patio through June for sure. Not sure about the July 4th weekend, just based on people's travel plans and so on, but we'll see. And I appreciate you spurring me on to thinking about it and whether or not we can find a way to continue it. Marcia's also enjoying Pastor on the Patio. That's good. That's great. So how are we doing time-wise? I know I got on here quite late. I do have to go facilitate, but I'd have another 5 minutes if there are questions. I think I've hit on the most important things. July 12th for the live face-to-face first service, unless things do get really crazy here in Arizona, and we just feel it's not safe. Remember, throughout this, we've had a little mantra. We want people to be safe and saved. So we're still trying to navigate between safe and saved, and obviously doing that in an environment that's ever shifting. I can't. I think I've lost count how many times we've switch sides on whether masks are helpful or unhelpful in the 3 months of this pandemic. And now we're on masks are very helpful. So, that's just one example of how the information seems to change pretty regularly on this. And it's just been a tough navigation, but we're doing well. We're happy that we've been able to provide the streaming services and so on. Any other questions?
Ralph was asking about cafe services being temporarily closed. I think that's just a great example of.
Yeah. Those are all the things that we're working through. And I would imagine we will not have cafe for a while, just because I'm not even sure how many people would want to use it, much less what it takes in terms of service and expense to provide that, which we love doing. I mean, that's just an awesome thing. It's part of our crosswalk culture. One thing I will say is I want to encourage anyone who is willing to volunteer to help us get going. Send an email to prayer@cwlk.church. We are going to need volunteer help to pull this off, particularly if we're at ALA. And so I know all the team leaders are out there, and they will very soon be talking to you if you've been on their team. And even for a while, we may need to switch people. Ralph mentioned the cafe team. If we're not doing the cafe right away, perhaps those on the cafe team can be deployed in other areas just to make sure that we're taking care of things. But that is a little bit of a concern of ours, is just that we have enough volunteers, not only attenders, for that July 12th reopening. So we'll be touching bases and finding out if you have the ability and the willingness to serve for July 12th. All right. I think, given the time, that I am going to keep this one a little bit short. And I really appreciate you guys figuring out how to migrate over to this other live stream. And as I said, I'll work with the team to see what I did wrong. Because I'm sure it's user error, whatever it was. But I'll get that corrected before next weekend. All right, guys, God bless. Have a great rest of your weekend, rest of your Sunday. Have a great week. And I look forward to seeing all of you right back here next Sunday for Crosswalk Worship and for Pastor on the Patio.